Before we get started in today's lesson, I'm going to review some elementary concepts with you. Let's take this fraction. Can this be reduced?
Yes.
By what?
4.
Yes, we can divide both the numerator and denominator by 4. When we do so, what is the new fraction? 1/3. So guys, 4/12 is the same as 1/3. They're equivalent, okay? Now, if you want to check to make sure we simplified this fraction correctly, you can do something called cross multiply. 12 times 1 is 12. 4 times 3 is 12. So those fractions are equal to each other. Let's do another example. Let's say I have 20 over 15. How can we simplify this?
Not 5.
By 5. So if you divide this by 5, this by 5, we get what? Well, let's see if you did this correctly. Let's cross multiply and check. What's 15 times 4?
60.
60, good. 20 times 3?
6.
Okay, we got the same number. We're going to be cross multiplying today. However, instead of fractions, we're going to be doing rationals, okay? Let me give you one where you would have to solve. Say I have 2/3. I don't know what this one is, but this one is 12. Now you can think about this algebraically. It looks like they multiplied by 4 to get 12. So if you multiply this by 4, you'll get 8.
Yeah.
Okay, now if you wanted to solve this by cross multiplying, you would do 2 times 12 is 24. 3 times x. You divide by 3. Your missing number is 8. Okay? We're going to take the same concept and apply it to Algebra 1. So let's do the first problem. I'm going to cross multiply. 6 times x minus 7. We write that as 6 times x minus 7. Now we'll do the other diagonal. 3 times x minus 2. From here, we just solve. 6 times x is 6x. 6 times -7, -42. 3 times x is 3x. 3 times -2 is -6. Now we just solve, yes. Subtract 3x. We are left with 3x minus 42 is -6. Now what? Yep. Add 42 to both sides. So 3x equals 36. Good. Final step. Yep. Divide by 3. So I get x is 12. Now, before I box my answer, I'm going to show you guys how we can check our work. This was the original problem. If I plug in my answer 12, let's see if it makes sense. What's 12 minus 2? 10. Okay, so I'm just going to write 10 up here. And 12 minus 5. I'm sorry, 12 minus 7 is 5. All right, cross multiply. 6 times 5, that's 30. 10 times 3, that's 30. So guys, whenever I plugged in 12, it made sense. The fractions were the same. That's how you check your answer. You will get extraneous answers during this unit, where if you plug it in, you don't get a match. All right, let's do another example. Actually, I'm going to keep this example on the board. You guys try number 2 and number 3 on your own. Okay, so let's go ahead and do this one together. We're going to cross multiply. 3 times 2 is 6. Then we have to multiply these two together. That'll be m plus 4 times m minus 1. The way we do this, m times m is m squared. M times -1 is -1m. Four times m is 4m. 4 times -1 is -4. I'll bring down this 6. Okay, notice that these both have m's. What's -1 plus 4? 3, so this will be 3m. Everything else will just come down. Okay, I saw a lot of people immediately try to do an eye chart here with -4 and 3. That's not right, because this is equal to 6, not a 0. So before we can do this, before you can factor, you need to get rid of this 6. Subtract 6, bring it over here. Now you have 0 equals m squared plus 3m minus 10. Now you can do your eye chart. Two numbers that multiply to -10 and 3, or add to 3, are 5 and -2. 5 times -2 is -10. 5 plus -2 is 3. So these are my factors. M plus 5 times m minus 2. These are your factors, okay? I don't want the factors, I want the solutions. So how do you think we'll find the solutions? Exactly, set them both equal to 0 and solve it. So this first one, subtract 5, you get m is -5. M minus 2 equals 0, add 2 to both sides, you'll get m is 2. So these are your two answers. Now you can check each one individually. So if I wanted to check my answer, let's plug it in for these m's. So I'm going to erase these m's, and I can put a -5 in its spot. Make sure these match. This is -1, this is -6. -1 times -6 is 6. 3 times 2 is 6. That works. So this is the solution. You guys can check if number 2, or if 2 is a solution. Next problem. X times x plus 15. This will become x times x plus 15. Just write it like that. Next, I'll have 2x times 2x minus 5. Go ahead and distribute. X times x is x squared. X times 15 is 15x. Two x times 2x is 4x squared, because we have 2 x's now. And then 2x times -5 is -10x. My goal is to put everything on one side. Okay. Just like this one, everything, we had to move it to one side. We're going to do that over here too. So let's go ahead and move everything to one side. I do not like having negative values. If I subtracted a 4x squared, don't do this. If I subtracted 4x squared, this would become -3x squared. I don't like having negatives, so I'm not going to do that. Instead, I would subtract the x squared. That cancels out. What's 4 minus 1? 3. So this will be 3x squared. The rest can just come down. Okay. I don't like my biggest exponent to be negative. I like that leading one to be positive. All right, next, let's move this minus this 15x over by subtracting 15x. Subtract 15x. Let's see what is left. I'm left with 3x squared. What's negative 10 minus 15? Negative 25x. Okay. And this is just 0 on this side. All right, can I do an eye chart?
No.
No, I cannot do an eye chart. If I can't do an eye chart, we'll just divide. What can both of these be divided by?
X.
Yep, they both have an x, so let's divide them both by x. Whatever you divide by, that's what goes on the outside. These x's cancel. What am I left with? 3x minus 25 equals 0. Okay, what you guys do, you're going to set what is outside equal to 0, and then set what is inside equal to 0, and solve. So let's do that. My first one, set this outside one, x, set it equal to 0. And there's really no solving to do. It just says x equals 0. The next one, set this equal to 0 and solve. So I have 3x minus 25 equals 0. I'm going to add 25 to both sides. So I get 3x equals 25, then divide by 3. That's my other answer.